Welcome, Cancer, Sun, Moon, and Rising sign. Honestly, this is a month to remember. For you particularly, it's critical. We have a huge energy of a total solar eclipse squaring your ascendant-descendant axis, but mostly bringing massive changes in your career trajectory over the course of a year. That's happening in April, as well as a really rare, not seen since 1941 event in the House of Friendships and Career Gain. So we can't wait to get into this month, but let me say it is a humdinger of change. Before we start that, I might introduce myself to you if you're new to my channel. I am Lori Lothian. I'm using the Western Tropical Zodiac and the whole sign house system. I love the fixed Taurus minor asteroids, and guess what? When you hang out with me, 40 plus videos a month, you'll learn about those minor asteroids and fixed stars and hopefully have a good time. So try me out by liking and subscribing. If you're one of my regulars, welcome, welcome back. This is a month that I've been looking forward to, but also kind of dreading. And I want to say for all of the cardinal signs, Aries and Libra and Cancer and Capricorn, it is a big deal. So as we move into this month, we're going to definitely be talking a little bit about the eclipse, but I want you to know that I'm having a huge eclipse video coming out, which will be much more detailed. And the only thing I'm sharing for you this month, the only thing I'm covering is that I'm having my Sky Reader class open up in the middle of April. This is a fifth time teaching it. It's how to be your own astrologer and time your best life. And you'll learn enough to do that. So if you want to join me, it's on starting up in middle of the month. We have the weekly Saturday class live, replay available, forever evergreen access for this content. You get to keep it forever on my teaching platform. We have a weekly Q&A. Times will vary to accommodate different time zones, as well as a Facebook group where you can do your homework, and my assistant and I will check in on you. That's a private group. That kind of high-touch learning environment inspires you, then please think of joining us. And the description link box below underneath is how to get on the early bird waitlist for when the enrollment doors open. And you'll also get a bit of a discount by being ahead of the curve. All right. Now, Cancer, 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 Sun, Moon, and Rising. Sun, career and purpose. Moon, home and body. Moon, mother, son, father, right? This is why when you listen for your rising sign, it's really all about you. It's really all about you. And that's what you want to listen for. And if you don't know how to cast your chart to find your rising sign, I have a free tutorial below using free online software teaching you how to find your rising sign. All you'll need is your time of birth and place, of course, etc. And also you can learn how to do it in whole sign houses, an ancient tradition, which is what we all use and delineate by on YouTube land. And it is actually the best system in my humble opinion. Now, when we look at this month ahead, I'm going to go by talking about the overview of the planetary motions, move it into the critical, blow by blow of the chronology. So first of all, what I want to note is that in this month, Venus, the goddess of love and beauty, kindness, peace and harmony, will have been will have been traveling last month through the sign of Pisces, flowing to you from the ninth house of God and inspiration. It will be on April the 5th that she leaves that part of your sky and moves into your career space. And that's a big deal for you because she will bonify you there. She will make your career stuff work better for you. Maybe a raise, promotion, better reputation, more social life, and more fun in the career space, more perks in your career space. So that's good for you, April 5th to the 29th. No complaints. Although she's out of dignity here, you might want to find the balance between the work and home life because she could give you a lot of work and you might really feel like you want to tuck yourself under the covers in your Libra fourth house of your private domestic life, which is her territory. But she's working like a, I don't know, like an aggressive lean in Sheryl Sandberg to the boardroom kind of Venus for you, April the 5th to 29th. Never did like the idea that women should lean in and pretend to be like the masculine, but that you can have a very aggressive edge in your career and be very successful by taking daring and initiative and trying new things and even pioneering from April 5th to the 29th. Mars is tucked behind her, finishing up his journey, 6-week journey through your ninth house of God. And he'll be there till April 30th. And when Mars is in your Piscean ninth house, he's flowing to your identity. This is good for your high spirits, for your health, for you being more decisive in your flowing empathic way, for you taking actions you need to take. But he does love travel. And as he's going through your ninth house, some of you may take or plan foreign land shores and travel adventures. His time there will be indicative of potential travel for sure. That's through till April the 30th. At the very same time, when Mars is gallivanting through your ninth house, you might be very ambitiously pursuing a legal matter and maybe having a lawyer go to bat for you in a court, or aggressively, passionately acting in things to do with book publishing or things to do with your academic higher education and grinding and working hard. Mercury is in an elemental fire year where throughout 2024, he spends 6 months in fire signs due to retrogradation. Haven't seen that since 2017, but it's this month that he starts he's in his 2 month journey through your 10th house of career. Now, he started moving through your 10th house March the 10th, and it will leave May the 15th. You might have been very busy emailing, phone calling, talking, texting, coming up with ideas, communicating, etc., socializing a bit, maybe even in the workspace. But it says retrograde on April the 1st, and it goes backwards all the way through to the 25th in your 10th house. That indicates past colleagues, bosses, and situations and people and places of employment from the past coming into the future, coming into the now, I should say. So those are the calls, phone calls, messages, and conversations from people that you probably forgot about coming to you all at once. And so look for that April 1st to the 25th to be very much the case. However, you may be making some changes of your mind about what you want to accomplish in your career as this retrogradation happens, or pulling backwards on something to revise or redo something that you were working on in your career and reputation space from March to 10th. And then April 1st to 25th, you go backwards. Now, if you are a Cancer, Sun, Moon, or Rising with your degrees between, let's say, 13 and 29 degrees of Cancer, because the retrograde is between 16 and 27, you really feel this. It's really, that Mercury is really busy on your behalf. And there will be a kazimi here. We'll get to that later, making it very important as he retrogrades into the heart of the sun this month. It will give you like a divine download or amazing sort of energy here in the month of April. We'll give to the exact date later. The biggest news of the 10th house, of course, is the eclipse, and we're going to talk about that. So let's start going through the chronology of the story. Through this month, what happens and in what order? Get your pen and paper handy. Listen for your sun, moon, and rising. I explained what the difference was earlier. You can definitely take notes here because I don't have the wherewithal to find someone to put little dates in the video. So just write them down. April the 3rd, Venus will conjunct Neptune while she's still in Pisces, your ninth house of God. A dreamy travel opportunity to a far-off destination that has something to do with water, for example, with a friend or a sister, April the 3rd, or a love partner, April the 3rd. You may take that trip then or plan that trip then. And with Venus and Neptune coming together, it's like very soulmatey, divine love. And some of you may have a breakthrough in a love relationship. Some of you may have a breakthrough in an academic setting that has a very sweet dreams come true, fantastical nature. Venus up here, and Neptune is kind of like you could be involved in a spiritual path academically or come into contact with a spiritual teacher, enlightenment-y vibe. This is again April 6th to the 7th. April the 3rd. Then we move forward to April 6th to the 7th, and Venus is now segued out of the sign of Pisces and is sitting in your 10th house. Now, as I mentioned earlier, this is raises, promotions, awards, rewards, sociability, daring do, a new initiative. Yeah, that's you and your career. But April 6th and 7th, as she steps into there in the early degrees of your 10th house, she's talking to Pluto. Pluto and Aquarius in your 8th house, a chunky money. Well, let's put it this way. A payoff package, a bonus, performance review bonus, a severance package, a sign-on bonus, or some financial benefits coming through the work environment, including things to do with shared resources, inheritance, taxes, etc. Breaking through the sky. Of course, it's tax season. So for you guys, this can be, oh, wow, April 6th to 7th, a powerful tax break or a powerful tax shift for you. April the 9th and the 10th and the 8th, 8th, 9th, and 10th, buckle up. 8th, 9th, and 10th. Eclipse on the 8th and 9th and 10th, Mars and Saturn. Whoa, just makes me dizzy. Really does. So this eclipse is the second eclipse in Aries on the 8th of April. It's total and it's powerful and it lasts a year at minimum in terms of impact for you. The one we had last year on April 29th was a hybrid. The one we're having March 29th as well is not as powerful at all next year. This is the one to pay attention to at 19 degrees of Aries. I will be doing a deep dive video into this so that you can get more from this, but I will say it is a solar eclipse, which can provide endings and beginnings, massive change in your career space. Because it's at 19 degrees, if you have your ascendant in Cancer at 16 to 21 degrees, especially. Wowzer. Also, if your sun is in those degrees or your moon is there as well, 16 to 21, you really feel it. Moon, home needs and safety and body, sun and moon, mother figures, sun, father figures, and your career and purpose and the ascendant, everything about you, particularly your career. So get ready for that. Eclipse is squaring the mom, sun, moon, and dad, sun, mean changes in the lives of your parents. It's not always all about you. This is kind of like an eclipse because of Chiron up there and the North Node that connected in February and early March about healing a chironic wound in your career house that you began to feel back in 2019. So understand that the important thing is you want to be on purpose, and you've been trying to be aligned with your gifts and talents since 2019. And this is the eclipse that just says, here's the door to that purpose, alignment, end of the wound since 2019 of not being on your game, on your purpose, feeling like the outsider in your career, feeling like you can't pin the tail on the donkey. That is changing. Don't forget, April 8th, don't expect everything to happen. It's about what happens in the months after this eclipse and the month, 6 weeks before. You already felt it before it got here. And what else will I say to you? And we have Venus supporting you in this eclipse, right? Venus has come into the 10th house, and she's not without her measures of goodness to kind of love you up during this eclipse. Now, the day after the 8th, which is the 9th and 10th, all depends on your time zone. Mars is going to conjunct Saturn. And you'll feel it before and after, of course, by a few days in your 9th house. Hard stop, frustration, hit a wall, feel like you're stuck. You're stuck. You can't break through. You need to break through. You got lots of ambition and passion to do something with foreign travel, foreign lands, foreign shores, book publishing, court and legal matters, academic settings, all the meanings of the 9th house. And then Saturn and Mars, who's like plowing forward like a race car, like a speedboat, I should have come up with this metaphor before. He's a speedboat plying the Pisces waters, and he crashes into a rock, Saturn. What is this hard stop frustration crash in the 9th and 10th about? I have no idea. You'll have to let me know. For everyone, it will be different. But it can also be a father figure having some kind of impact, hard crash energy that you're perceiving. The good news is this energy is flowing at you. And so even though there's a hard stop frustration moment, you are okay with it. You're able to roll with this, okay? That's the key. You're rolling with it. It doesn't feel like you're overwhelmed by it, but it is there on the 9th and the 10th. And if it was a legal matter, then you come to a hard stop, right? The judge says, no, we're throwing the case out, or we have to reset the deal, or, there's a turning point there. Same with book publishing, same with academics. You were racing like a speedboat to get into Harvard, and there was a hard stop. No, don't worry, another door will open, right? That kind of thing. It'll be something better, actually. All right, on the April 11th, 12th, depends on your time zone, Mercury comes into the heart of the sun. This is called a kazimi. It's at 22 degrees of Aries, of course. If your Cancer, sun, moon, or rising is near 22 degrees, within 3 on either side especially, you really feel this kazimi. It really reverbs at you. A kazimi is Mercury getting divine downloads from the sun about your career and passing it on to you. Major news and changes could come through the day of the kazimi in your career space. I encourage you to take my webinar on this, a freebie, where I'll discuss the minor asteroids, very exotic stuff, and the fixed stars that are embedded within this. And my classes are educational slideshows, but with a Q&A and interactive time, especially when I do the guided meditation to help you tune into which parts of the sky are the most important for your sign. Now, the other part of the story of Mercury kazimi here is it may not be about you. It's a house of the boss or the colleagues, the coworkers, and somebody in that space could suddenly reveal something, to you and the others. It's really exciting or really important, and it wasn't known or understood before. So that is April 11th and the 12th. On April the 18th to the 21st, I'm calling it the vortex. When I do my week ahead astrology, it'll be like the vortex is ahead. Wow. Like, I don't even know where to begin because it's so rare and it's so intense. We first have to talk about the rare part. Jupiter, Uranus co-joined at 21 degrees in your 11th house of good spirit, where you have it's going to happen on April 21st. That's where you have friends and allies and benefactors. And Jupiter looks like a benefactor all the time, as well as an elder sibling. And there's a surprise, a splash of something from an elder sibling, a friend or ally benefactor, or in a career gains or pennies from heaven windfall mode. Splash! Not just on April 21st. It's a synodic cycle. Jupiter's opportunity, Uranus is unexpected. It's a synodic cycle that takes you over a 14-year window of sort of exciting, radical, freedom-loving, unexpected changes in your career gains, in your friendship circles and belongings, in your friends and benefactors and allies, and even in the long-range goals and dreams and plans you have for your very own life. But as this acute point is coming into being, you're starting to feel it a lot before the 21st of the month. You begin to feel it reverbing, or what do you call it, like the pre-shadow, foreshadowing between the 15th and at the other end of it, the 26th of the month of April. So yes, it's exact around the 21st, but up to, as soon as the 15th starts to show up, and you can get a feel for what's about to come. Now, as this is a more exact event on the 21st of April, depends on where you live, time zone wise, we do see some other things happening in the background, and that's why this is a vortex. Most specifically, around the 18th to the 21st, Mars is sextiling or flowing to or supporting Jupiter. Now, Mars is supporting Jupiter from his own territory. The Piscean waters belong to Jupiter, and Mars is flowing towards Jupiter, cheering him on and giving him a support structure. So what good things could explode in a positive way in your 11th house? That I've already told you what it means, from the 9th house of foreign travel, foreign shores, and foreign lands, spiritual guides and lawyers and academic settings, foreigners and foreign travel. And this energy is all colluding together with what it is you're going to do in terms of explosive excitement in your career gains or favors from people in places of power, or things to do with, your, you could get a windfall out of this. Don't forget the energy of your 9th house where Mars is traveling, the Piscean waters where he's got a speedboat, hit a hard stop on the 9th and 10th. This is almost like, and after a crushing blow, then Mars moves past that rock and he continues to trundle along in his rowboat, and then he starts to help Jupiter, Uranus. Let's see how that looks for each of us. Please tell me in the comments. I'd love to hear after it happens how you experience this energy. Mercury is conjunct Venus while Mars is sextiling Jupiter. Holy man, 18th to 21st of April, Mercury and Venus are together holding hands in the sky. Of course, they're in Aries now, right? She's done with that Piscean waters and she's doing her Xena warrior princess and kicking ass in your career zone with initiative and daring. And now she hits Mercury. Bold communication, exciting news and developments involving women, females, or prosperity, perks, rewards, and rewards in your career space. 18th to the 21st, and reputation space. And then at the very same time, can't you not make this stuff up? The sun, this is more acutely on the 19th to 21st, the sun is squaring Pluto. Pluto is about power and wealth, and Pluto is about transformation and metamorphosis in your 8th house of hidden secret stories, in your 8th house of occult mysteries and magic, in your 8th house of chunky money, including inheritances, including money shared with a spouse, including like money you get in a chunk, like you sold a house or something, money you get because you had a massive tax rebate. So Pluto is in the 8th house. And he's sitting there at around 2 degrees. And then what happens is the sun will be going through Taurus, where that Jupiter-Uranus conjunction is happening, and looks over its shoulder and says, gets stink-eye to Pluto. Well, it doesn't always have to be bad, because Jupiter, Sun, Uranus squaring Pluto can, for some of you, look like some exciting money, windfall events, financial bounty through an elder sibling, friend who gives you a favor, or just some kind of career gain. But it can also look like the sun is wanting something from Pluto that has to do with a more pure karmic cosmic reward direction. Champion Mars is urging everything on. It's kind of like, it feels like you might come to a moment where you have a turning point. All squares are turning points, the nature of Mars, requiring action and choices and decisions, especially legally, about money matters, because Mars is in your ninth house, that you are doing with a shared resource partner, including a spouse, including a sibling, including a friend, many different ways that could play out. And there's going to be another point at which whatever's going on here on the 2021st, it gets followed up by Venus on the 28th and 30th to that window of time where she then goes and squares Pluto. So with the sun starts, she finishes. Now she's in her great dignity in the sign of Taurus by that point. Remember, she's leaving on the 29th to head into Taurus land. And so it's kind of like the 29th, 30th. Venus is squaring Pluto. And Venus is saying something like, well, that was a hot disaster, April 20th and 21st, but I've got this. Don't worry, I'm fixing the problem. And that brings a really benefic energy here from Venus squaring Pluto. And that can look like even a very good financial moment for you in terms of windfalls, elder sibling, allies and benefactors, and maybe even a greater career gain, such as a raise, promotion, or reward award. Again, what felt hard on the 2021st or somewhat challenging can look a lot more possibly positive around the 29th and 30th. And Pluto is catering a lot in this eighth house to you going a lot deeper than the surface of your life. I often find people who tell me about the Pluto transit through their eighth house talk about deep soul work and transformation and letting go of their assumptions about their identity and letting go of people and places that aren't really right for them, including retirement out of long-term marriages or long-term professions. And so keep that in mind as you experience this energy of Venus Pluto at the end of April. Maybe there's a call to move away from a situation in money, shared monies that's no longer useful. Finally, I almost forgot a couple of things. On the 23rd, there's a full moon, 23rd of April, at 4 degrees of Scorpio, taking cue from 6 months earlier in the fall when we had that new moon. The full moon is in the house of children, and you're bringing to completion or ending something to do with a child. And that full moon does square Pluto, and there could be a termination of a situation around money or inheritance and child or children or lover or sexual partner. That full moon is completing what was initiated in the fall. So did you have a money story with a child? Did you have a story about money and a sexual love romantic partner? If you're creative or entrepreneurial, this is also that kind of chunky money from your entrepreneurial and creative stuff, including taxes and some kind of fulfillment completion of that story. A full moon in the house of children is definitely going to bring something into the story, though, about a child if you already have them. And then finally, Mars and Neptune will be joining together and holding hands on around the 28th, the 30th of April. And when they're holding hands, it's in your ninth house of God, and it's very spiritual warrior, but it can also be travel to a dreamy place where there's seashores and spiritual ashrams, or it can be some kind of decisions and actions you want to take in alignment with your most lofty spiritual goals as it applies to faith and truth and wisdom. And so some of that can feel very easy for you at this time because Mars conjunct Neptune is flowing at you. And you've been having that every second year since 2011. It's nothing new. So it keeps reinforcing something deep inside of you every couple of years where you want to come into an unconditional loving space about reality. And Mars is helping you take the steps and actions you need to be that spiritual warrior and to make your way in that world. Of course, on a practical note, if you're in the book publishing industry, it could be a major turning point of an option to get an agent or a book publishing deal or get accepted at your favorite academic school. But again, Mars travels, Neptune likes the seashore. So some of you literally at the end of April are thinking, I'm planning or taking a trip to the beach, that kind of thing. I wish you the very best, Cancer, Sun, Moon, and Rising in the month of April. What a humdinger of a month. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. If you wanted to get this early, like my Patreon community gets this on March the 20th, you would have had this already if you were one of my $5 tiers at the minimum. If you want to try me out, just to tell you, I have Zoom meetings and private classes, and I teach things you don't get on YouTube. Then you can discounts like 100% off my monthly classes at a certain tier. You might want to come aboard. So check it out in the description box below. My Synastry, the Key to Purpose, Synastry, Are You My Person relationship class, and Chiron, the Key to Purpose, are both being gifted to you for free for trying my channel out. Go give it my Patreon community out. Join 350 others who are part of the story over there where we get to know each other. I read all your comments. It's much more intimate than it is here. Check it out, $5 a month. You can take the $66 worth of free gift courses and take it with you if you don't like it. So you can hit and run, right? You can come in, grab the goods and leave, but you at least get to know me for 1 month off of this platform here at YouTube Land. Thanks for listening, Cancer, Sun, Moon, and Rising. Have an amazing month of April.